on the agenda is the business and finance report. I'm assuming Paul's going to get that.
Carol is going to turn up the volume. Can you hear me, Sue?
Hear me?
Sue, I came up here like I knew what I was doing, but I don't know what
I know, I'm so proud of you. I think it's that one.
You want that?
Yeah, Maggie, thank you, Maggie. Yes, you did the one of that. Test.
The one that says volume.
Haley Capano, actually, yes, Haley Capano. You want to help me?
Okay.
Test. Is this any better or worse? Test.
What would it be?
Test. Is Haley making it better? Is this better?
Yeah.
Haley Capano, all right, buddy, full credit.
Is mine okay? I don't think so.
You gotta go right to your mouth here, you're right up.
Right up to my mouth?
It's better, it's not as good.
All right, we're rolling, I think. Here we go.
All right, finance.
Finance. This morning we had our finance meeting. Peggy McKenzie, our accounting office manager, reported on preliminary financials through the end of February. As always, we read the same report every month. State subsidies have been received and recorded. 3 of the 5 towns have been received and recorded. 2 outstanding towns did arrive, but after reporting deadline, and they will be reported soon. As always, revenues exceeded expenses, and expenses are in line with where they should be. Food service, I say it every month, is now making its gaining track towards becoming level. Gained $23,000 to the good this month in food service. Will continue to gain ground as the year moves on. And adult ed revenues continue to exceed expenses. We're in very good shape financially.
Any questions? Next item, construction, transportation, and safety.
For the construction meeting this month, the curtain to separate the gymnasium at the elementary school has been installed. We have received the order to complete the project, and it should be finished this week. For the middle school, the maintenance department completed some painting over break. And at the high school, we're working to complete the outdoor bathrooms. There's a chance they are completed in time for graduation.
Thank you. Any questions? Curriculum report. Let's do the student report first. You need a mic.
Okay, the winter sports season has come to an end. The girls varsity basketball team won their first playoff game at home against Buckfield, but lost a tough one against undefeated Hallville, who plays in the state game on Saturday. The boys varsity team faced Deerville for their playoff game, and they played well, but they did not win. The varsity cheerleaders faced some challenges the morning of their competition, but they did their best, and they also did well. Michael Lovell represented the high school Special Olympic cross-country ski team at the state competition in Waterville. He took gold in both of his races, 100-meter and 500-meter. He was proud of his accomplishments, and we are too. Great job to all of our student athletes. Shortly after our February meeting, the SVHS Student Council and National Honor Society teamed up to spread awareness for Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. On February 8th, students and staff were asked to wear orange to support the cause, and they did not disappoint. NHS and student council members passed out flyers, ribbons, and stickers, in addition to reading facts off daily to spread awareness. Sacopee Valley High School's annual Winter Carnival took place on February 18th, the day before the start of February vacation. This event takes place each year to encourage better relationships between staff and students while doing things they enjoy and also boosting morale. Some of the highlighted events were dodgeball, Dungeons and Dragons, Rice Krispie sculptures, and Mario Kart. All students and staff had a wonderful time, and the class of 2023 won the competition.
In addition, the National Honor Society has released a virtual library in honor of their readathon fundraiser for the Sacopee Valley Spirit Tree. The the link to see the library full of National Honor Society students, including Brooke and myself, reading some of their favorite books is listed on the page. There are currently 22 different books, and students are looking to continue the readathon in the future. SVHS Student Council has created their own version of March Madness. Student Council has created a calendar with activities or themes for every day in March. We are encouraging students, staff members, and community members to participate. It's a great way to try new activities and show your Hawk pride. The calendar is attached to this report. Interested students and staff from Sacopee Valley High School will be undergoing training by NAMI Maine's youth organization of peer-to-peer support training called Sources of Strength. Sources of Strength is designed to harness the power of peer social networks to change unhealthy norms and culture, ultimately preventing suicide, bullying, and substance abuse. Sources of Strength moves beyond a risk focus and utilizes an upstream approach, mobilizing a group of powerful peer leaders to spread messages of hope, help, and strength throughout their school and community. This upstream model strengthens multiple sources of support and protective factors around youth individuals so that when times get hard, they can leverage their strengths. Currently, SVHS Student Council is looking for high school students and staff to undergo this training and participate in this program. It offers not only support to peers, but also life skills that students can take with them. And finally, spring sports start March 29th, and we look forward to an exciting season.
Thank you. Any questions for the students? Yes.
I can hear you. Thank you, first of all. Secondly, I'm glad that you're here as student representatives to the board. I'm hoping that somehow they may be encouraged to take a more active role rather than give us a report of what has happened every meeting. One of the things that I would like to suggest and ask for is that future meetings, if you tell us upcoming events that are going to happen, so that we might be able to witness them if possible to do. Hearing what happened is not much fun for me. It would be a lot more fun if I could see it happening. The other part is that, again, I'm glad we have student members on the board, and I'm hoping that somehow we can encourage them to be a more participating group than just giving us a report every month. They're not getting much experience out of this, other than reporting in. Thank you.
Anybody else? I want to look at this calendar here and see the things that we can do. Last. Very, very cool. So you have a college apparel day, that's excellent. Very nice. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the curriculum committee report.
Minutes of the February 9th. Rick Wilson from the Office of Innovation at the Maine Department of Education presented information on extended learning opportunities, which are hands-on credit courses outside the classroom, which combine academic instruction and assignments with an emphasis on community-based career exploration through experiential learning components such as internships and job shadows. The program is designed to be self-sustaining after 2 years and to complement co-op programs. ELO supports the 10-year Maine Economic Development Strategy created in 2019, which identified Maine career exploration as a long-term recommendation. The state will soon provide grants, a total of $5 million, for 2-year packages of ELOs beginning The committee then reviewed the existing guidelines and rules for community service in the high school. It approved the guidelines but recommended that 25 hours only be required of the classes of 2022, 23, 24, and 25 because of the difficulty of volunteering with the community at large during the pandemic, with a return to the normal requirements for the class of 2026. Our next meeting is March 9th, which will be a meeting of the Substance Abuse Prevention Committee.
Any questions for Jolene? Next item on the agenda is the Wellness Committee's report. I will do half of it, and then Becky will give the microphone to Allison. She'll do the second half. So our meeting was held on Friday, March 11th. Dana Call, high school parent and project coordinator of N68 Hours of Hunger, is a new member of the committee. Another new member is Alicia Hutsey, I think is how we say it, the Let's Go Oxford Hill program coordinator, who is replacing Sarah Carter. Sarah is now the statewide Let's Go coordinator for Maine Health. Congratulations to Sarah, and thanks to her for her service in assisting SAD 55 health programs and initiatives. Dominic Watt, school nurse working between the middle school and the high school. Dominic is replacing Lori Goldforth, who left the district this past fall to take a job at Maine Medical Center. Everyone's contact information is in the SAD 55 Wellness Team's contacts, documented in Team Drive. Nutrition Department update from Samantha Wedgwood. The introduction of the free school meals for all students has resulted in a significant increase in the number of meals being served, as well as a reduction in the number of students who are opting for a la carte food options in lieu of the standard meal. The implementation of students' barcode cards has gone well in terms of speeding up the service lines. 98% of students are remembering their cards. Some discussion was held about how to avoid conflicts and comments to students who lose or forget their lunch cards so that they are not skipping meals to avoid this. One suggestion was that students who are prone to losing the card take a picture of the barcode with their phone. You got it? So you're going to start with number 3.
Okay.
Thanks.
The student representative update was given by Cameron Barron and Sophie Shortsleeves. The Student Council at the high school has identified youth mental health as a year-long project focus. Goals include raising awareness and reducing stigma for kids to get help with anxiety and depression. Students are working on a Sources of Strength display. Members of Student Council and other interested students will be doing a 3-hour training from Sources of Strength in being effective peer helpers. Date is to be determined. Advisor Kelly Goodfield is hoping to schedule in March. This week, the National Honor Society and Student Council coordinated sponsorship of Teen Dating Violence Awareness Week. Each morning, students read an announcement about statistics related to teen dating violence and sexual assault, and also have put up materials related to healthy versus unhealthy relationships in library bathrooms and bulletin boards. Tuesday, 2/9 was Wear Orange to Support Healthy Relationships Day. Last Thursday, 2/3/22, there was a featured segment on WCSH's 207 News Magazine program about the Smooth Feather Film School and the 2021 student film project, The Shadows We Speak. Update on the Virgin Pulse MEABT Wellness Program was given by Becky Connors. Currently, about 30% of eligible staff are enrolled in Virgin Pulse. Amy Vacchiano commented that this is free money. It's $250 just for signing up and entering some stuff in the app. I don't know why everyone isn't doing this. Britt Wolf commented that he thinks the biggest obstacle is inertia and fear of email inflow from Virgin Pulse. We'll talk about this in our next meeting. The next meeting is scheduled for Friday, March 18th, 2022, 1 to 2:30 p.m. via Zoom. Topics of discussion will include vaping at SVMS and SVHS and strategies to increase staff participation in the Virgin Pulse Wellness Program.
Thank you. Any questions? It's a very, very interesting meeting, and I'm glad that Amy is on the committee with me. Next report is Lake Region. No meeting?
No meeting.
No meeting. Next meeting is the 11th of March. Policy reports, policy committee report on February 16th meeting. And that is, we are going to be taking up what we discussed at the meeting under action items. And our next meeting is March 9th at 4 o'clock. Action items. Consideration to approve the following policies as a first reading. JKE R2, readmittance hearing procedure. Why don't we just go through all of these?
This first one is just the one, and then the next three together.
So could I have a motion to approve that? And a second? Thank you. All those in favor for approving first read of readmittance hearing procedures, please raise your hand. Wes? All right. Yes. Number 2, consideration to approve the following policies as a second read and adoption. JK, student discipline. JKE, expulsion of students. JKER, expulsion guidelines.
So moved.
Brad. Second is Julie. Nancy.
All right, Nancy, discussion.
On JK, and I,
A mic is coming.
Can we turn that thing up somehow? I don't know, maybe everybody else can hear.
Kelly Capano can't help it.
all right, let's see if this works. I don't know if it's on. All right, so and I think that one of the recommendations I'm going to make is that we are going to meet in the cafeteria. We've got to have some way that you can pull these policies up so people can see them. That I brought my computer again because on JK student discipline, on the second page on that, and I'm going to read it because I don't think anybody else has a copy. School-wide rules shall be developed by the building principal with appropriate input from school staff and subject to approval by the superintendent. Aren't these what's in the student handbook? Well,
There are policies in the student handbook, yes.
yeah, so I think that needs to be added there. It makes it sound as if the school-wide rules are developed by the building principal and the staff, but doesn't say where they're distributed to the students. So shouldn't it say school-wide rules are, they're in the student handbook, it's what it should say. Because then it's very clear that in order for somebody to know what the school-wide rules are, they shouldn't have to go into this policy and then call the principal of school and say, what are they?
Nancy, I was having trouble hearing you in the beginning. That's policy what?
It is JK.
JK, okay. Did you say page 2?
It's on page 2, it's the first,
Paragraph?
no, it's the second paragraph.
Second paragraph, okay.
It's the second paragraph, and I just don't think it's clear to the public that every school has a student council, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so probably
that's my issue with that one, and I don't know how anybody else feels. I think it's just clarification of where information is for the public.
Should we pull this from this one?
Yeah.
And on
So
JK,
we'll pull that from the vote tonight.
okay,
JK.
and the other one is JKE, and this is one I have a question for Carl. I guess under the second paragraph under expulsion of students, it says, the superintendent has the discretion under main law to provide an alternative to an expulsion on a case-by-case basis. Such determination shall be made in writing. So when I look at all of the expulsion hearings that I've been to, I'm trying to figure out exactly what would put a student into that alternative program. And
Yeah.
and is there a mechanism so that the board knows that a student is on an alternate program? And my third question is, so let's say that it doesn't work. When the student is expelled, would we know that they had been on an alternative program?
All good questions, so here's my answers. I'm going to do the best I can because these are doing great, Nancy. So one, we've never used that, at least in 9 years. We've never had alternatives to expulsion. I don't know if it's just a catch-all for things you would do. The board wouldn't know, so what we do here, just so everybody knows, the maximum our administrative team suspends a child is 10 days. At that point, if it goes beyond 10 days, we always bring them to you. We don't do any alternatives other than that. There are times in a case-by-case in the area of special education where they can be out up to 45 days while we do some evaluations, but I don't think that's what that's referring to. So this hasn't happened at least for the last 10 years. We do a 10-day max, and then you would see them if we wanted to go beyond the 10.
So I understand, well, I don't understand why it's a state law, so let me clarify that. But I don't understand why there's an alternative to something that, in theory, is the board's purview. And maybe, because I didn't go into try to find out what the law was.
I'm looking right now too, Nancy. We can pull that one too, Judy, until we have a better answer to that, and it doesn't happen in practice, but certainly we can get clarification on what that exactly would mean.
Okay, is that the one with the R or without the R?
It's no R, JKE.
No, just JKE that I had questions on. Thank you.
Alternative out. Okay, so that looks like we are only going to be approving for the second reading JKER. The other two have been pulled, and the policy committee will take another look at them. Do you have another question, Nancy?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't see any other questions. All those in favor of JKER, please raise your hand. Okay.
You still need this? You still need this?
Yes, I do.
I don't know
Sure, and there's, yeah, I have a brief report.
Do you want to hear the agenda? All right, let's go ahead. Go ahead with the
Okay, so
superintendent's
here's my superintendent's report here this evening. I know the folks on the board have it right in front of them, but for anybody watching on TV, some appointments to report this month. Ashley Bell, school nutrition assistant at the high school. Courtney Thibodeau, special education ed tech at our elementary school. And Steve Bridges stepping in to coach our middle school softball team. We have resignations from the following. Brian Hink as varsity softball coach. Ben Murphy as our varsity boys track coach, and Tara Day as an educational technician at our middle school. Certainly like to thank those three individuals for their commitment and dedication to the students of SAD 55 for many years. And a final obvious big thank you here. Ron DeShays is retiring as a custodian at Sacopee Valley Elementary School. I believe he has a pretty significant plaque coming at our recognition night. I won't spoil it, but Ron DeShays is certainly committed to our district and our kids here for a long, long time. I want to publicly thank Ron for his years of service and wish him well in his retirement. So those are the folks on our report. I just want to cover something briefly, and I know we'll have a special board meeting on March 7th at 7 p.m. right here in this room for folks watching. Some news that came out primarily around masking. I had sent an email around. It came from the state. They said that there would be updates to our standard operating plan for how we operate schools here in the state of Maine. They said it would come out by the end of this week. Today, it was posted that across the state, statewide, they're moving from recommending to saying optional is okay for masks effective March 9th. On March 7th, the board will take up that conversation again, March 7th, right here in this room at 7 p.m. for folks watching. I know the board already knows this. We'll have this full discussion and see what we want to do here in SAT 55. Just a quick update on where we're at COVID-wise. I want to thank Sue Day for providing the data here. After the winter break in December, our case numbers week by week, and I think we follow most of the state, and I'll certainly repeat this on March 7th for the folks that are here on our board. We had case numbers for pretty much week by week here. 22, 46, 75 was our peak, 52, 34, 28. The week before vacation, we had 9, and we've had 2 since vacation. So we've certainly seen the same downward trend in cases in our school district that has been seen across the state. The other positive news was a report today that the high school had 0 positive pools, so we do pool testing. No pools at our high school came back positive. And soon they were all negative here, and we're still waiting on 1, but at our middle school, all negative pools as well. So we've certainly seen a significant decrease in the positive COVID cases here at school. I'll update everybody on the 7th on our staff vaccination rates and things like that. Obviously, we keep a regular eye on our cases and our pool testing and our attendance of our kids and how many kids are out due to those issues. I'll provide the full update on March 7th, but know that we'll be looking at whether to go optional masking on March 9th. That'll be our conversation on the 7th at 7 p.m. right here. That's all I have, Mr.
Then, you have a question, Nancy? Go
I
ahead.
don't have a question. I have something that I saw on the news tonight that just scared me to death. And I want to share it because I think that our school community is a place that sometimes drugs make it into our community. And what was on the news tonight was they found fentanyl in the gummies, and they were, I think they were purple and green, and they were designed for younger people. And one was a skeleton, and the other was like a little hand grenade or something. But it's that type of thing that, how do we get the word out to the community, and how do we get the word out that not everybody watches the same news that I do. And it just scared me so to think that that was something that one of our young people would not even have any concept at all that this was something that was deadly. And fentanyl is deadly. And so I just wanted to share that. I don't know how many other people saw it, but it just scares me to death.
Jolene, isn't that perfect for the meeting on the 9th?
Yes, it is.
Awful. All right. I am calling this meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all so much.
Sorry about that, I'll try to make it short. My question is this, when are contracts issued or offered for spring sports?
We'll probably get them out, so spring sports start March 21. Typically, we go the week before the season, we give them to our athletic directors, high school and middle school, and they would distribute them to the coaches that have been approved for those roles.
So does the spring sports typically start March 21?
Pitchers and catchers, I believe, Haley Capon, March 20. Pitchers and catchers, March 21.
Well, I'm just concerned that we get such a short period of time to find a track coach and a softball coach. And when, the season's ended last May, and now are we scrambling for coaches? And get to this point before we're looking for one there.
So typically, people resign from those positions, and as soon as we get the resignations, we post the positions.
What concerns me that the resignations came in so late, which gives us such a short period of time to find replacements.
Thank you.
Okay, now the meeting is adjourned. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.